Hi, Earth. Nice to see you back again.
Okay, I can see happy faces, happy smiling faces. Okay, with that, can we go to the previous slide before this? Yes, the previous slide. Yes, I'd like to introduce all of you to our expert trainer for today, Kudrat Dev. Kudrat is the founder and lead trainer at YCM. She has diverse work experience of 11 plus years in India, UK, US, and Europe with leading dispute resolution firms and mediation organizations. Kudrat is a dispute resolution expert, a British Chevening scholar, a certified conflict coach, and a mediator. Kudrat's prowess as a mediator stands out where her unique blend of legal and technological insight fosters effective and collaborative conflict resolution. With a commitment to excellence, Kudrat's skill in mediation contributes significantly to navigating complexities and delivering impactful solutions. Today, we embark on an exciting journey to explore the world of mediation. This workshop will equip you with the tools to navigate and resolve conflicts effectively. Let's get started. Next slide.
Great.
After the slide, yeah. With that, let's see what are all the agendas that are lined up for today. First, we'll discuss the urgent need for mediation skills in today's world. With conflicts on the rise, these skills are more important than ever. Next, we'll dive into the key learnings for the day. We'll cover what mediation is, the core principles that guide it, and the stages involved in the mediation process. After that, we will move on to some hands on activities designed to help you to put your learnings into practice. These exercises will give you a chance to apply what you have learned in a practical setting. We'll wrap up with a special announcement that you won't want to miss. And at the end, we'll open the floor for Q&A session where you can ask any questions you may have, share your thoughts, learn from each other's experience. So without further delay, let's dive in. Okay. The urgent need for mediation skills in today's world. Mediation skills have become essential in today's world for several reasons. First, laws like the Mediation Act 2023 in India highlight the necessity of mastering these skills. Conflicts are becoming more frequent and widespread, and mediation offers effective solutions to resolve them. By embracing mediation, you can lead the way in fostering peaceful resolutions. Early adopters of these skills gain a significant advantage, building trust and reputation in this field. Let's delve into these points briefly. Interactive, and then now it's time for poll questions. So keep your fastest fingers active. So, do you think global conflicts can be resolved through mediation? Use the Zoom poll to answer. If it's yes, you can click yes, no, maybe. It's an interactive workshop. I request all the participants to actively participate. And yeah, so the results are 64% said yes, 7% said no, and 29% said maybe. Okay. Over to you, Kudrat, on the polls review.
I don't have the poll results in front of me, so whoever has the poll results can share.
Yeah. Okay. Harshita, can you share the poll results? Yes.
Great. So 64% said yes, 7% no, and 29% Maybe. Of course, it depends where you are located in this world and your view on it. But thank you for your answers. Let's move to the next poll question.
Yeah.
Now, this gets a little bit more personal. We spoke about things around, but let's speak about you. Have you ever been involved in a disagreement, a heated argument, or even a full-blown fight with someone? Yes or no, those are your two options. Please take 10 seconds to put in your response.
I think Harshita, you can share the results.
Yes, I see the results on the screen. 79% have said yes. 21% have said no. So I'm curious to take a pause here and hear from someone who said yes. Why did you say yes? And someone who said no. It'll be great if you'll be happy to share with us why did you say no. Please raise your hands and Faiza will moderate and identify you. Monique is raising her real hand, and I also see Arth has raised his hand. So let's start with Monique and then Arth.
Yes, Monique, you can unmute and speak.
Yes,
Right?
ma'am. So good afternoon, ma'am. My answer
No,
is
Arsha, so I first Monique will go first and you will go second.
It's
Monique,
okay
you can go ahead. Yeah.
Oh, okay. You can start if you want, but it's okay. Uh, I didn't really answer because for me, I've always been in the middle of the conflict. But I did have once someone trying to argue, and I tried to find a way to calm down the situation and see the point of view of that person and see my point of view. You know what I mean? I'm kind of, but I witnesses a situation when people argue a lot, and I realize, you know, sometimes it's people want to have the last word, and it does sometimes it doesn't make any sense. You know what I mean? But I've been witnesses a lot of this kind of situation, and for me it happens just once because I don't want to get into conflict. For me, it's like, you know, it's if you get in a conflict, there is no end. Because always there is one person who wants to be the winner. There is no winner in a conflict. It's about it's for me, in my point of view, it's about you need to understand what's going on behind the scene because no one will tell you exactly what's going on behind the scene. You know, you just have a few things coming to you, but yeah, I did have the and I've been a witness of that situation. Thank you very much.
Great. Thank you for sharing that, Monique. And we'll also touch upon what Monique said and what we call at YCM the cycle of disputes, how you get stuck into it. But mediation is a process that can help parties break that cycle of dispute and reach a place where they can resolve it. But let's hear from Arth now. Arth, are you still with us? Please feel free
yes.
to
Good afternoon,
unmute.
ma'am.
Good
So I
afternoon.
think yes, mediation can help in resolving the conflicts because again it will provide an solution which will be acceptable to the both the parties. As far as this thing is, as far as the question is concerned, yes, I've been involved in major disagreement with some person, but with the help of the mediation, it has been resolved. And ma'am, I've also seen in the Bombay High Court, where in the anticipatory bail applications, the judges give the party to option to refer it to a mediator to resolve their conflict.
Okay, great. Thank you for sharing that, Arth. And the rest of y'all, if y'all want to put your response in the chat, that's also fine. But I'm curious to hear from some of those who said no. And we are all for differing opinions at YCM. Yes, yes was the majority poll and no was the minority poll, but I would still like to hear. So please feel free to unmute or put your response in the chat. Yeah, and maybe we come back to this point at the end of the Q&A. Somebody has unmuted. Subhash, do you want to share something?
Yes. Actually,
Please go ahead.
There have been an event wherein celebration of an event at a particular place, and that was a remote place. Now, remote place, so there was accessibility issues, and particular timing was also not suitable. So there was a disagreement in selection of the event, in celebration of the event, and so this agreement was a normal outcome, and it has to be postponed for some other day and for some other location. That's how it was resolved.
Okay, great. Thank you for sharing that, Subhash. So from day-to-day things such as venue and time and place of celebration can also show how conflicts can be in day-to-day life. And of course, those of who are lawyers in the room, you all know how things blow up into big legal disputes. Great. Okay, so this sets the ground for our discussion, and let's move to the next slide.
Yeah. I request all the participants to actively listen to the scenario. So before I hand it over to our expert trainer, I'd like to set the stage with a brief summary of this conflict scenario. Okay, so I'd also request once again to kindly pay attention, because based on this conflict scenario, the mediation principles and the other activity will be done based on the scenario. Okay. Jinx and we are both best friends, but also co founders of the ice cream company called Ice Cream Girls. Their businesses and friendship both are at stake now. We is in charge of marketing and Jinx is in charge of operations. They face numerous issues ranging from disagreements on marketing strategies to personal differences in their conduct. Their sale in the last few months have come down from 1 crore to 10 lakh. So I welcome now we and Jinx to do a small role play for us. We, if you could turn on the camera, we can spotlight. Yes. Over to you, we and Jinx.
Jinx, did you even see the sales report for this quarter?
Good morning to you too, V. And yes, I saw it. From 1 crore to 10 lakhs. Oh my gosh, brutal.
Brutal? You mean brutal? Try catastrophic? We have gone from market leaders to a sinking ship in 4 months, Jinx. And I know exactly where the leak started.
Don't start this again.
Oh, no, let's finish it. Your marketing strategy was a ticking bomb. We all knew it. 15 lakh on that influencer campaign and no return on investment? That wasn't going to work. And now we are behind on the celebrity endorsement payment. We can't even pay our vendors, Jinx.
Oh, great. So it's my fault now. What about your department? Orders delayed for weeks? Customer complaints flooding in, and we lost two major clients because of your broken logistics.
That was all. The leading route was our capital, which you ran out because you were busy endorsing influencer campaigns. You drained the budget like we were in a monopoly, like it was a monopoly money. That's not how it's supposed to work. I had to slash delivery staff just to keep the lights on in here.
Don't you dare twist this wheel. You were cutting costs even when we had the money. You cheaped out on packaging, messed up the inventory projects, and now you want to scapegoat me?
That was all because you overspent. Flashy videos, clickbait ads, and nothing to back it up. Our engagement is down. Our conversations now are just a joke, and our reputation is down in the drain, Jinx.
And yet you keep signing off on every single campaign approval. Hypocrisy looks good on you.
Hypocrisy, you mean? I trusted your number, Jinx. This company was built on our trust partnership. I trusted you. I trusted your projections. You promised me growth, not this whole death spiral.
You trusted me? No, way. You used me to cover your mismanagement. You needed a scapegoat and walked right into your trap.
If that was so, then I wouldn't be here talking with you. This company was my dream, and right now you're turning it into a nightmare.
And you think this wasn't my dream too? I've poured blood into this brand. You think it's easy watching it collapse?
If it wasn't your dream, it might have been in the past, but right now the way you're behaving and not taking accountability doesn't align with what you're saying. You want easy? Try explaining it to our employees why there's no bonus. Try telling our intern why he's not getting observed in the company. They're losing faith in us, Jinx, and here we are busy bickering.
So what do you want to do? Keep pointing fingers until we both get fired?
Not anymore. I want us to fix this. Take accountability.
All right, but if we do this, then let's mediate. Bring someone in. No politics, just solutions.
Great, only if we are ready to take full accountability.
Agreed. No more hiding behind titles. We own this mess, together or not at all.
Great, then let's go for a mediation session, and I hope that we could solve this.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, V and Jinx.
Before we proceed, can we have a round of applause for our actors? Harshita and Nidhi are both students and did really well in character. Thank you.
Thank you, Kudrat.
Great. Okay. So as Faiza had mentioned, I hope you all watched this scenario carefully. It's about best friends, co-founders, running an ice cream company together, but now they're in a dispute. Yeah. We, as the CEO, takes care of operations and Jinx took care of marketing. But the real problem that they face today is their company is in losses. Sales has gone down drastically. So now I want each one of you to wear your mediator's hat and imagine the mediation process has been ongoing. You will be given scenarios on the basis of this conflict, and we would love to know how would you react. To make it easy, this will be in an MCQ option, so multiple choice questions. Let's go to the first scenario. Can we go to the first scenario once? Perfect. Thank you. Yeah. So I just want to test in the room who is at which learning level with this first scenario. And then we'll again get into some core mediation principles, but let's just test where you are in your learning level so that I know how deeply I need to explain the concept. So this is a trial scenario for everybody. Yeah. During the joint mediation session, we claims that her co-founder Jinx had shared sensitive project details with a competitor. And because of this, their sales drastically reduced from 1 crore to 10 lakhs. Now, as a mediator, you've heard this statement in the joint session. Which of the following would be an appropriate response from you as the mediator? Option 1, I hear your concern. Please elaborate, and then let's hear Jing's perspective. Option 2, no, you are telling a lie. Option 3, we should invite the competitor to mediate. Okay, I think some of you all already know the drill. The responses are coming in the chat. Great, I see one so far. Anybody who has another view, please feel free to share that. Okay, great. Thank you. Can we have what is mediation on the screen now as the question? And can we have a volunteer share? What do you think mediation is? Preferably someone who's not spoken. Please feel free to raise your hand. This is a workshop, so I will really appreciate that everybody participates. I see Arth has his hand raised, but before handing it over to Arth, I would once again request anybody else to raise your hand. We build the answer together. What is mediation? I think it has some 3 important components, but let's build this answer together. Anybody other than Arth? Yes. Okay. Unnati, let's hear from you. And Arth will also come to you. Unnati and then Ria.
Hello, good evening, good afternoon, ma'am.
Good
Well,
afternoon.
I believe mediation is a process where two parties that are in a conflict can come to a resolution.
Okay, super. Thank you for sharing that, Unnati. Ria, let's hear from you.
So mediation is basically a way to solve problem where a neutral person, like we can call it a mediator, who helps two or more people who are having a disagreement to resolve the issue.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Ria. Yes, Earth, let's hear from you now.
Ma'am, so mediation is a process where the two parties which are into the dispute, they refer to a mediator who's a neutral person, and if they reach and in mediation, ma'am, they also, if they reach a particular settlement, then there's a settlement agreement through which the you have the final outcome after hearing both the sides. If
Okay. Yeah, please complete, Earth. Have you completed your answer? I think you were still saying something.
No, ma'am. After the mediator like hears both the sides and then explains to the each party, and if the parties then come to some kind of a conclusion, then you have a settlement agreement.
Great. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Can we have all the ingredients of what is mediation on the screen? Like Unnati, Ria, and Earth mentioned, it is a process whereby parties attempt to reach an amicable settlement of their dispute with the assistance of a third person referred to as a mediator, who does not, and now this is important, who does not have the authority to impose a settlement upon the parties to the dispute. So, what does the mediator do? People are getting into a process to reach an amicable settlement, but this mediator is not going to tell them what the settlement is. So, what's the point of this process? Yeah. So, of course, this I'm asking as a rhetorical question to compare it to what happens to litigation, or how many ever, TV series or movies that you all have seen about litigation in court. There, a judge imposes a decision saying, probably, you are wrong. You did share confidential information with the competitor, and this is a breach of your obligations as a co-founder, and hence there are going to be negative consequences for you. Yeah. So here a decision is implemented. A judgment is given as to who is right and who is wrong. Mediation, on the other hand, is a process where parties will identify their interests. The mediator enables this through open dialogue. The mediator enables a culture where they will be able to also find their own solution to fulfill their interests. Yeah. So if we and Jinx went to court, the judge or the legal system does not care that they're best friends. They are co-founders who've come with a legal dispute in relation to their company. In mediation, this will also be taken into account. They are best friends. There's a personal relationship at stake as well. How do they want their friendship to continue and grow? How do they want to grow as business partners and co-founders? Is this what they want? What is their real interest? Yeah. So both aspects are explored in mediation, and mediation provides a holistic solution, because as people, we are complex. We just don't have one angle to a conflict in our life. We come from different angles, and this ice cream girls conflict is just an example of that. Yeah. Okay, let's move to the next slide. Now, I believe it doesn't matter what you are called, it's more on the substance. But for you all to know, mediation is referred by various different expressions. It's also called as pre-litigation mediation, online mediation, community mediation, or conciliation. Pre-litigation mediation, where before going to court, you decide, let me try mediation and amicably sorting out things. Online mediation is where it's happening online on an online platform such as Zoom, where we are today, or it could be a sophisticated online dispute resolution platform. Community mediation is mediation that happens between community members, and the word conciliation was used in the past to refer to a process where the mediator was a little bit more interventionist in their approach. Yeah. But the Mediation Act 2023 in India has put a rest to this and said, whatever you call it, It's mediation. Now, for me, what's most important is, why is this definition important for you as a mediator? It's a theoretical definition. Why are we talking about it? So let's give this definition some real substance. As a mediator, when you look at the definition of mediation, I want you to think in terms of your role. How will you create a situation, a space where parties can actively participate, identify their interests, and also probably reach a solution? You will follow certain principles as a mediator. So let's move on to the next slide. Your first role as a mediator is the first principle, to create a solution-oriented safe space. And how do you create this solution-oriented safe space? So say, if you were the mediator in this V and Jinx dispute, firstly, you would tell them, look, this process is confidential. So please open up and share whatever information is relevant, which you think will help you to save your business. And if you want to save your friendship, even that. So please bring everything on the table. It's all confidential. Nothing is going out of this room. Yeah. Second, you tell them it's without prejudice. Yes, they are best friends, but they're also business partners. So they're also coming from a commercial angle at this. So if someone has to make an admission where maybe, V or Jing says, yes, I made a wrong decision. I chose a wrong marketing agency, and that's why things have gone bad. That was a wrong decision. And there has to be some admission of some mistake. That person needs to be given the assurance that admission of your mistake will not be used against you in a court of law. Yeah, or the other person is not going to take you to a court of law saying, yes, in mediation you had admitted this, that you are wrong. Yeah, because then people will never open up and speak clearly and will not bring the true real picture. And more often than not, in courts, why don't people speak the truth? Because each and every word they say is going to be held against them, and most probably by the opponent will be used against them. But mediation, two conflicting parties, they're not opponents. Maybe they enter the process as opponents, but the mediator needs to reframe the conversation to say that you are two individuals with your respective interests, and our North Star is going to be, how will you fulfill your interests? The North Star is not to find out who's right and who's wrong. The North Star is forward looking. How do we find a solution so that you can move on with your life in at least an acceptable way, or you can even make your life better once you walk out of this process because you walk out with solutions? The next thing is names and roles, health and safety, which is basic. In V and Jing's dispute, they are co-founders, so they should be coming to the mediation session and not sending assistants who do not have, power to take decisions. If it's online mediation, you need to ensure that people still are sitting in a space where they can focus on the mediation session. They're not taking it from a car. If it's a physical mediation, then attending to basic facilities where you tell them, okay, here's where you get your water, quick snacks, or here where the washrooms are, or fire exits. All of this is very, very important. So the space, the physical space as well. So two spaces we've spoken about, solution-oriented. Confidentiality without prejudice, help creating the mental space that, okay, here I am safe, I can speak openly. And names, roles, and health and safety, who are the people in the room, and basic human biological needs. That's the physical space that makes them comfortable. Any questions on the first principle? Or your first goal? That's how I would like to call it as a mediator. Your first goal is to create a solution-oriented safe space. Yes, Arth, you have your hand raised.
Yeah, I have a question. So, ma'am, could you just explain about the confidentiality and roles clause in this first point? I have not understood this.
Yeah, roles is basically knowing who is the decision maker and who has showed up to the mediation room. Yeah. So in India, for instance, in court annexed mediations, I have noticed that 5 people are showing up from one side and only 2 people are showing up from the other side. And I'm like, but the dispute is between two people. Why do we have 7 people in the room? Yeah. So understanding what role is which person playing is important. Yeah. Because on one side, I'll be like, okay, I have a dispute. If we says, I have a dispute with Jinx, Jinx should be the only person here, but Jinx has come with Jinx plus 3. Who are this plus 3? Yeah. It could be Jinx's external lawyer. It could be Jinx's friend for moral support. It could be an assistant to take notes. So knowing who is in the room and who has the real authority to take decisions. So as a mediator, you must ensure that everybody knows who is present in the room and what role are they going to play. Yeah, one person is just taking notes. One person is just observing or there for moral support. This person is the one who you have to actively engage with to identify their interests and move the mediation process forward. So that's names and roles. Confidentiality is saying whatever we discuss here stays within this room. Nobody's going to go outside this room and talk about it. That's the basic meaning of confidentiality, that whatever we discuss is confidential. You can't go and put a social media post about it. Today in mediation, I met Jinx again, my best friend, but guess what? She's turned into a sour enemy now, and she accused me of ABC. That can't happen. Is that clear, Arth?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Great. Okay, let's move to the next principle. Fairness. Yeah. When we go to a court of law, people want justice. They want to be treated fairly. The reason for many conflicts in the first place is where you think, no, this was not fair. The way things happened, it was not fair to me. Yeah. Similarly, in mediation, which is also a dispute resolution process, as a mediator, you've got to ensure that the process is fair. Yeah. And how do you ensure that? Neutrality. So if I were the mediator and I have invested, or let's say my spouse has invested a big amount in buying shares of Ice Cream Girls company, can I sit as a mediator for this case? This is a question for all of y'all. If yes, put Y in the chat box. If no, put N in the chat box. I repeat my question. I am a mediator in this Ice Cream Girls conflict. I know that my spouse has invested a significant amount recently purchasing shares of Ice Cream Girls. Can I sit as a mediator? Okay. Let me make this a little bit more interesting. But both of them want Ice Cream Girls to grow. Even if I'm an interested person, I share interests with both of them, right? It's not like it's one company that I've invested in. Both of them are co-founders in the same company. Shouldn't it be okay? If the situation was different where they were two separate companies and I'd invested in one of the companies of the conflicting parties and not the other, then absolutely, yes, I'm not neutral. Okay, great. Thank you for your interaction in the chat. So some important questions. How much amount of shares do I hold in that company? Yeah, this also becomes important. Second, have I openly disclosed to the parties that, my spouse holds these many shares? So disclosure is also very important. Yeah. You all said no. It's a fair approach. You all can say, no, this, I'm still vested. Maybe I will still want them to reach some sort of solution so that the business should do well. And I might become pushy. And as a mediator, I am not supposed to be focused on them reaching a settlement. But because my spouse is holding shares, maybe I will still push. Yeah, you're right. Those questions still come up. And those of y'all who've been trained with YCM, at least our recommendation is there shouldn't also be any apprehension that the mediator is not fair. Yeah. So principle of neutrality is very important. Impartiality, again, can someone raise their hand and share how is impartiality different from neutrality? Sometimes people confuse these two concepts. And if you could use the ice cream girls example and share what would impartiality look like here, that would be superb. What does impartiality mean? Or what does partiality mean? I'm happy to see Arth's hand, but can we also hear from someone who's not spoken yet? What is impartiality? Or what is partiality? Anybody wants to give it a go? Okay, let's hear from Ria.
So basically, the mediator treats everyone equally and they don't take sides or give advice or show bias. And it helps like both the parties talk and reach an agreement.
Great. And I also see responses in the chat. To favor someone, something that is opposed to biasness, favoring one of the two parties. Yeah. Alok, Abhishek, thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Exactly. And then equality would mean treating both the parties equally. Yeah. But how do you treat both the parties equally? You all saw in that session that maybe one person had more knowledge. The CEO was more pushy than the other co-founder, and one co-founder seems to be dominating. So don't you want to support the co-founder who is not that dominating? How do you ensure equality? Okay, so we will look at some scenarios and maybe delve into this equality topic a little deeper later. So just quick recap. Your first goal to create a solution-oriented safe space. Second goal to ensure fairness. And let me just say fairness of the process. Yeah, not the solution, because you are not we or Jinx. What's fair as a solution, they will only decide. And third principle, my favorite, ownership. Yeah. Ownership. A lingo from when I was growing up, my life, my rules. Similarly, as a mediator, you have to ensure that you can convey to the parties in a language that they understand your conflict, your solution. Yeah. What does this mean? Self-determination, that means they have to decide for themselves. How will they fulfill their interests? How will they arrive at a solution? Yeah. We spoke about authority to settle briefly. So if there are many people in the room, your question as the mediator has to be, the people who have the authority to settle and take decisions, are they in the room? Yeah. And finally, voluntariness. Voluntariness has two parts to it: voluntary participation and voluntarily arriving at a solution. In different culture and jurisdictions, voluntary participation, things are handled differently. So for instance, in India, for court-annexed mediation, or in Italy, there's a concept of mandatory mediation, which means what? Parties are mandatorily referred by an authority to go and try out mediation to talk out things. Yeah. So there's a level of mandatoriness that you have to try mediation. But one thing which is common all across jurisdictions, which is once you are in the mediation session, you have to reach the solution voluntarily. Nobody can push you and say, no, 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 you will not walk out of this room until you have a solution with you. Yeah, so there are different schools of thought on this. Those of you all who are interested, please read up more on this concept of mandatory mediation. People say, oh, it's an oxymoron. Mediation Act 2023, earlier in the draft bill, said that all civil and commercial disputes have to go through a mediation process. That language was watered down, saying that, no, you have to try it out. So it's an interesting concept. Great. Okay. Before we move to the next slide, because we also have some of our past trainees here, or those who have not been trained by us, that's also fine. Can somebody share with me what are the stages of mediation? Like in court, you know what happens. The first step is you have to file a petition. Then the other person will file a reply. Then there will be some evidence stage, then cross-examination, then judgment. So that's sort of very loosely put the stages of litigation. And then maybe someone will appeal. And then they will again do the same thing. One person will file a petition of appeal, the other person will file a reply, then the judgment. Then the other person who loses the case will file another appeal. So then the cycle of disputes continues in a litigation process. Yeah. In mediation, what are the stages? Can someone raise their hand and share? Or put it in the chat. We're also happy to have your participation that way. What are the stages of mediation? Okay, yes, Arth, let's hear from you.
So first, I think it will be an introduction where both the peoples will introduce themselves. Selves. Then second is like the mediator will sit with one with like a separate session with the parties which are involved in the mediation. Ma'am, third is again there may be a kind of a joint sessions where like whatever conclusion has like what are the ideas of each party, and then they may, if they have agreed, then together they may have a settlement.
Okay, great. Thank you for sharing that. Yes, can we have all the stages on the screen? And when you look at the stages, again, I want you to think about your role as the mediator in each of the stages. First, opening. What are you opening? You are opening a communication channel. Yeah, you're opening up a safe and solution-oriented space. So those principles fall into this category of the opening stage. That's very important. You are not opening a conversation where parties will start blaming each other and say, you are wrong, I am right. So the opening is very important. How do you set the tone? How do you say that today we are here to discuss about your interests, and how will you find solutions to meet your interests in the best way? So the opening is very important. Then you move into exploration. Exploration of what? As a mediator, you want the parties to know, A, what are their real interests? We've seen these basic concepts of interest versus position, that I will, so Jinx or we could take a stance that I will not do the business with this person. She has to leave the company. This is a position. But if you ask, what is your interest? Why are you taking this position? The interest, the underlying real interest would be, I need a partner who can take accountability for their decisions when things go wrong. Only then we can move forward. So what is the interest? The interest is accountability and support from a co-founder. Yeah. And the position is, this person must leave the organization. So how to move the parties to their interests, and there can be several interests. Yeah. Collaboration, again, like Arth mentioned, in joint sessions or in private one-on-one sessions, where you really talk about how can you work together? How can you help both fulfill their interests? What are the creative ideas that come out there? Yeah. What is the full picture? And when I say, again, collaboration on all topics, not just legal topics, contractual topics, but they're best friends also. So on their personal relationship as well. So you need to bring that out. And finally, the closing. Closing can be in two parts. One is of the specific mediation session. A lot of times these days, mediation is happening online. So you don't want the invite to just end. You have to close the session, reserve time as a mediator. I always do this, depending on how long the mediation is, at least 7 minutes to summarize what had happened. What have we agreed upon? What is yet to be discussed? Is there any homework that the parties need to do before they come to the next session? And if you're closing the mediation process, again, it could be two sort of closures of the entire mediation process. One, where parties have reached a solution and they have fulfilled all their interest. Second, where they've not reached a solution, they've made some progress, but they've decided for now, mediation is not for us. Yeah. And you as a mediator have to be okay with both these outcomes. Why? Because settlement is not your goal. If it's anybody's goal, it should be the party's goals. And what I can share is, a lot of time people come back to mediation after they've reflected, after they've tried other things, and they thought, oh no, I made better progress in mediation. Let me go back to the same mediator again. Okay, great. Now it's time to get into the scenarios again. Can we move to scenario 2? Actually, just before that, Harshita, once. On the mediation stages, we've touched upon basic mediation stages today, but I'll just leave you with 2 things to think about. Before the opening, as a mediator, you also have to do preparation. Yeah. But today our workshop time is short, so we don't spend so much time on that. But please know there's a preparation stage before the opening, and there's a reflection stage, which is ongoing for you as a mediator throughout all the stages of opening, collaboration, exploration, and closing, and even after closing. Yeah. So there are important things that you need to work on in your preparation and reflection. We call those mediators inward skills. But whenever you're interacting with the parties to the conflict, we call them the outward skills. Yeah. So if you're interested in more details, then Faiza has some announcements at the end of the day where you could learn more with us. But let's now get into the scenarios. So you all already did scenario 1. Now we get into scenario 2. Again, this is the Ice Cream Girls conflict, co-founders best friends. During the mediation session,
Go to the previous slide.
Yeah. No. Can we go to the second scenario, please?
Second
This is the
slide,
first
yeah.
scenario. We've done that. Next slide, please. Yeah. During the mediation session, you're the mediator now. Yeah. During the mediation session, Jinx, one of the co-founder, feels that the mediator is siding with V because of their shared background and frequent nods of agreement. Maybe we and mediator both come from the city of Mumbai or Bombay. Yeah. And now Jinx, the co-founder, who maybe comes from Bangalore, says, I feel the mediator is siding with V because both of them are Mumbaikars. And both of them keep nodding when they speak with each other. And Jinx expresses this to you, saying, mediator, are you siding? I think you're siding with V. What is your appropriate response in this scenario? Option 1, Jinx, you're overreacting. I was actually agreeing with the points we made. I apologize. That's option 2. It seemed that way. As a mediator, I assure you, I remain neutral and impartial. My goal is to ensure equality for both. Can you provide specific instances where you felt I was biased? Option 3, seriously, you're accusing me of siding with V? I am the mediator here, not you. Okay, I already see responses coming in the chat. So there seems to be no conflict or disagreement in this room. Everybody answers unanimously. Okay. Can we have one person raise their hand and share why is option 2 and not option 1? I come from a culture where I nod when I'm listening to someone. How is that siding with someone? Can't I tell them, as the mediator, can't I express to the party that maybe you're overreacting here a little bit? I was nodding when she was saying, yeah, it's weather is in Mumbai, it's raining all the time. I was nodding to that. So what's the problem? How am I siding? Of course, some things I can agree with. Option 2, if you apologize, won't the person feel like, yes, why are you apologizing if you're not wrong? That means you were siding, right? That's why you're apologizing. Okay, some responses in the chat. Surya Prakash says, because as a mediator, we have to win the trust of both the parties. Yeah. So in the end, it depends on the personalities in the room. Yeah, as a mediator, you have to see if you're going to say I apologize, and the other person is going to say, okay, now I'm going to even point out more mistakes, then don't say I apologize. Yeah, but like many of you all have said, as a mediator, your goal is to assist the parties. You have to let the parties know you are neutral. So if someone has expressed that they think that something is off and you are not being fair, it's okay to apologize, to reaffirm that you are neutral. And the most important part, what is the most important part of option 2? Can anybody raise their hand and share what is the most important part of option 2? I don't think the apology is the most important part. I don't think the assurance is the most important part. What is the most important part of option 2? Anybody? Perfect. Thank you, Nitish Kumar. It's asking them to list out the instances. Because if going forward, you continue to still be neutral and fair, but the other party somehow is still misunderstanding, maybe a gesture of nodding or where you said yes as biasness, it could happen again and again. So it's really important that you get to the root cause and ask them what specific instance. And then you'll be like, oh, yeah, I was nodding because she was saying it rains in Mumbai a lot. Only to that I was nodding. So yes, that's the shared background that we have, but it does not impact the way I assist you today as a mediator in this conflict. Yeah, and then she'll be like, oh yeah, okay, you were nodding when you all were talking about the weather. Sorry, maybe I got it wrong. Yeah, so that's very important. Okay. Great. Yeah, and as Subhash said, for clearing doubts, suspicion, and building trust, showing fairness. Super. Great. Suresh also says parties' confidence in the mediator. Yeah, that you really care and you get into the details. You're not saying, oh yeah, I'm neutral. I assure you I'm neutral, and then you move forward. So that's why option 2, the last part, is the most important. Great. Let's move to the next scenario. Yeah, we did the answer. Can we please move to the next scenario? Superb. Jinx feels pressured by V to accept a particular solution. I told you one of the co-founders is a little bit dominating. So Jinx feels pressured by V to accept a particular solution to their marketing strategy. Yeah. What is the appropriate mediator's response? So imagine you're in a mediation session and Jinx says, look, you're pressurizing me to agree to this point. As the mediator, what is your appropriate response? Option 1, you need to back off and please let Jinx decide on her own. What do you think is the best solution for the issue? Also, please avoid doing that. I don't like it. Option 3, both parties must feel they have control over the outcomes of this mediation. Is there an urgent need to change the marketing module strategy quickly? Are there any external factors influencing the decision? Okay. Great. Yeah. It's option 3. Option 1 is also not completely off in the key message. Yeah. But the way it's being said is off. Because option 1 and option 3 both are saying that parties must decide on their own. But it's not just what you say, it's how you say it as well. Yeah. Because if you look at option 1 and 3, both of them do have that same message on the first part, that parties need to decide on their own. Just that the first option, it comes out too aggressive and then the party will become defensive. So option 3 is the better option. And the art of using questions to get the parties to think differently, that's your value add as a mediator. Great. Okay, with that, option 3 is right, and it's 3 p.m. In India. So I hand it over to Faiza. I hope you enjoyed these scenarios. For those of you all new to mediation, I hope you all learned something. Those of you all refreshing mediation, I hope this was a good, quick, small refresher. With that, over to you, Faiza.
Thank you, Gudrit. Thank you for explaining wonderfully all the key principles and stages. We absolutely enjoyed the session. With that note, to inspire all of you a little more, I want to introduce Nidhi Chaube, a third-year law student from GD Goenka University. Nidhi has completed her 40 hours of IMI certified mediation training with YCM. I welcome Nidhi to share your experience on becoming a mediator. Nidhi, yeah, over to you.
Hi, thank you, Faiza. Hello, everyone. Hi, Kudrat. So, I'm a third year law student from GD Goenka University, and in my university, I had the opportunity to attend AI and mediation roundtable, through which I got to know about Kudrat and YCM. Then later on, I realized that they are offering a program for mediator training program. So I joined that. I was really excited. So I had the privilege to learn from many experts like Kudrat, Ekta ma'am from Samvad Partners. We had Kathleen, who is an IMI certified mediator, and we had Anupama ma'am from Delhi Dispute Resolution Center. Flew Ravensburg from Netherlands, and many other experts. So it was a mix of both international and national teachers and experts. So it was amazing to learn from all of their experiences. So this program taught us about understanding the cognitive biases we may have, the cultural differences, how they impact a person, or how they impact the clients in this situation, and managing impasse and resistance. As Kudrat said, that not we Indians have a problem of nodding our heads. So yes, that may also impact our clients, because we never know from what culture the other party comes from and what they infer from our situation. So beyond these lessons, the program gave me a chance to meet and connect with so many people who are like passionate about ADR and in this industry, and all the while it was worth it. The knowledge I gained and the whole journey, I loved the how the training program had everything scheduled, and even seeing that I'm a student, they had some breaks in between, and it was all worth it. I must say, you have to take this course if you're interested in mediation. I learned a lot. My skills have gone to a different level from when I started. So it's really great program. I'm grateful for this experience, as it deepened my interest in mediation, and it increased my skills. So thank you so much, Kudrat, for this program. I am in love. Oh my gosh. This program is really good. If you are a student, this is a must to learn, because it can give you a boost and take it up a notch. Thank you so much, Kudrat, Faiza, Arshita, and everyone in the team.
Thank you. Thank you, Nidhi. Thank you for your awesome feedback. With that note, Harshita, can we have the screen?
Thank you, Nidhi. We are happy to have you back
Yeah.
again, and
Sure.
please continue to be a part of our YCM community. And yeah,
Would love to.
Yeah. Have you, do you all love today's workshop? Like, imagine experiencing Kudrat as a full-fledged trainer, and then this option is for you. Take the next step with Mediation Fundamentals, a self-paced course designed to help you master your mediation skills at your own schedule. So, as a special offer, which is exclusive to webinar, this workshop participants, we are giving a discount of 30%. The original fee is INR 3,999, but now your chance to enroll at a reduced fee. So this offer is valid until 20 May, and use this coupon code. You can also take a quick screenshot if you're not having a phone or proper device. Don't worry, we will send you the link with the coupon code, which is exclusively available to the workshop participants. Use the code mediation YCM hyphen workshop. This is the code. If you add to the cart and check out, you will get the discounted fee. Remember, this is valid until 20 May. Thank you. Yeah, and next, with that, last but not the least, I have another opportunity for you where you can introduce your friends or colleagues to the world of mediation, inspire them to become an IMI qualified mediator. If you're thinking about how, uh, my colleague Swati will be dropping a feedback, a group training form. We will take it as an attendance form as well. So, Swati, if you could drop it, so meanwhile, you can fill it. So create a cohort of 8 or more individuals, and the person who is creating is eligible for a special sub. If you fill the form, we will get in touch with you and we will take this cohort and the discussion forward. Quickly fill this. We have 30 seconds left to wind up the session. And this is your attendance sheet as well. Yes, certificates will be provided for people who have attended. Mamata Bore. In this 30 seconds or 1 minute, if you have a Q&A, just left for 1 minute for Q&A.
Faisal, because time was less, can we also circulate a form where if people have questions, they can send it to us? Or can you put our email ID in the chat? So I try to take as many as questions and make it interactive during the workshop. But if you still have questions, I'm happy to address those. So Faisal's putting our email ID in the chat. You also see it on the screen. It's info@ycmindia.org. Please feel free to write to us and we will address all your queries.
Okay, I request all the trainees to turn on your camera so that we can take a quick picture with all of you. Shrita, you can stop sharing. Yeah. Let's go. I'll give you 20 more seconds to turn on the camera.
And feel free to remove me from spotlight so that we have everybody on the screen. I don't know how the view is for you. Because I see myself and Nidhi.
Yeah, got it. Yes. Ready, we can take a quick picture. Okay. Fine. Yes, Harshita, go ahead. Can you all show a thumbs up for the successful completion of workshop? Yes.
Done.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you, everyone. Until we meet again, do remember, no matter what it is, you can resolve it. Thank you.